Blitzers, it's Ronan. Welcome back to the channel. We are going to review today the new tank that is in the auction, the Key Globe tank, the One for It All, the new Concept 1B. So the Concept 1B is an American Heavy Tier 10 collector's tank that just came out. We're going to run through some of its items here and chat through why it is worth this much effort. I'm also going to talk to you about a little bit about how I plan to get it, in case you have not received it yourself or you want a strategy. The 1B is an American Heavy, hit points 2350. I'll show you the armor in a second, but it's a very well armored, and you can see the shape of the turret. This is a hull down beast. In terms of some of its other things, DPM is okay at 2500, 2800 if you use the rammer, which you probably want to calibrate. The cannon's you have a good cannon here in terms of its penetration. 258, 310, and 53 is the numbers. This is the base numbers. You can have these higher if you use calibrated shells. The big adjustment to the tank, and the reason that it's not OP is its alpha, with the lowest heavy alpha in the game at 380 for APCR, 330 shoots heat, which I hate heat by the way, 500 for high explosive. So you have good pen, but you have very low alpha, good aim time, again, base aim time of 4, good dispersion of 0.345, and it does go minus 10 gun depression, which is key. This is truly now the hull down tank other than the Kronwagen, which is a fabulous tank as well. This tank also moves. It's got a power to weight of 15.5. Again, this is base. Forward speed's 45, reverse is 18, so it's got great movement. And that's really the key stuff about it. I'm going to show the armor, and then I'm going to talk about how to get the tank, and then I have two fabulous replays. If you look at this tank, there is our minus 10, plus 20. If you are just right in front, you know, the lower plate is only 90 millimeter and you will be able to get penned easily. The upper plate is effective 281. And so the problem is you can't just go up and face people. You will get penned in lower or even upper plate with Pramo. So you've got to angle this thing. You've got to go hull down. Angling does not work. You do not have enough. I mean, you could get the angle down, but you see the pen value here is going to remain in the mid 100s. Everybody can pen you in that lower plate, and that lower plate is not angled. It's huge. You're going to have to be very careful with the lower plate to the point where it's effective. It's going to be a slope like this, which somebody's not going to shoot you there. Now, the other thing that I see is the turret is nearly invincible. You can see that you're talking 400 values here. There is one spot up top here that you can see is in the hundreds. However, that is a very small spot. Maybe a really accurate gun could get there. There are some values here that maybe the Hori can get you in this little spot in the neck. Now, and then this little area here is actually very high, especially you're not gonna get penned there too often. The one area that you can, the side armor here, is really not great. You got 90 millimeters and obviously it's not angled. So you can easily get shots there. The side of the turret's also lower, and it's got some value there. Now, where I noticed that you might be able to, if somebody is hull down but not all the way covered, you can get their side here with Pramo right on the drive wheel area. Your values in the mid 200s, okay, that's going to probably require Pramo, but there are places there, and in fact, even the sides, depending on how angled it is. So the angle that you're facing when you're playing the tank, if you're hull down, you can get a lot of bounces. Other than that, the turret's pretty much invincible, and it's got terrific armor profile in the front. All right, now how do you get the tank? How do I plan to get the tank? Well, there's a couple of ways to get a snow. You can get it in the snow globe, and you can get globes either by opening these crates up. As you see, I used to have 4.5 million free XP. I now have 47,000. I spent all of it, and I got one globe for 4.5 million XP. Not a great deal, and I encourage you to do it, but just know that I don't need free XP. I have every tier 10 tank. So what I do, and this is not for the faint of heart, is I buy the gold crates. I don't actually remember what the drop chance is to get the tank. I'm averaging about 8 containers, and I'll show you how I do it right now. And once you get enough globes, you will just get the tank. You need 10 globes to get the tank. So right now I have 7 of 10. I need 10 of 10. To get 10 of 10, I'm going to get 9 through buying these containers, which means I need 2 more, and then I will earn a snow globe the hard way through the grind. I still need 197 wins, and we have still quite a bit of days to do that, so it's a manageable amount. Now, to go ahead and you can also buy the globe. Right now, the globe here is 9,800, so worst comes to worst, I'll pay a little bit of gold for that. Now, the way I do this is I open these every day. Every day I come here and I open the globes. I go until I get a globe. There's 2, there's 3, sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 1. There's 4, there's 5, and you just gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. You don't stop. There's 6, there's 7, there is 8, there is 9. Anytime now. You see, you do get something, they just got an emoji light. That's something. I've gotten a lot of these little things along the way. I mean, they give you some stuff here. There's 10, and there is my globe. So it took 10 tries that time. That is 15,000 gold. Now, you're saying to yourself, Ronan, you're a fucking lunatic. Well, yes, I am. But normally, because I have nearly every tank, and I've gotten some cool tanks out of this as well. I got the Rompal thing with the blade in the front. You will get other tanks, and those tanks will offset your gold purchase. So I got a Chimera. It's the second time I've received that. Fuck you, Wargaming. So that Chimera is worth 5,000 gold, I believe, which offsets the gold I just spent. So even though I spent 15,000 gold, I actually just spent 10,000 gold. And if you want to look at what I got, because I know I was clicking through it very quickly, you can rewind the video, but you get stuff along the way. So I think, for me, this is kind of what I do. Now I am, as I said before, at 8 out of 10 globes. I need one more globe, one more gold from the way I did it, and then I will earn the last one and I will receive the Concept 1B, because I believe for sure the Wargaming will fuck me and not give it to me in a container. All right, so let's take a couple of replays here. We'll start with Rebel. Rebel, of course, being the collector that he is, got the 1B, and I will say, I actually fucking love this camo. Everybody hates it. It's got a totem pole in the back. It's politically incorrect. All the things on it. I'm surprised they didn't call it a redskin or something just to really piss everyone off. But nonetheless, it is kind of an epic tank. And I think that I actually love the way this looks and how it feels. And I really do think that little spot will confuse people. It actually hides a little bit. It confuses people when they're shooting you. So, as you used to notice right away, Rebel's got some good speed on the 1B. He is moving out there and getting into good position here. He's trying to get shots into the neck of the E100. That is no easy feat. That E100 player is angled correctly, but then comes a 50B. And there is your problem, 359. Like, you roll a 359 with a T62A. So, when you're shooting that with a heavy, that's not what one expects. But the cannon's tight. I mean, it's probably, and as you can tell, I haven't played it yet. It looks like a heavy medium. It wouldn't surprise me if that's how this thing's played. Now, the biggest advantage it has is there is, in my opinion, other than the Kronwagen, which has now been nerfed and is affected by the nerf. It's not a catastrophic nerf or anything, but it affects the way you play it. It used to be so fucking good. You can play the Kronwagen in this one. I just think the difference between the two is this tank's a lot more mobile, and it's got a much better DPM. It doesn't have the auto reloader. So I think there's advantages and disadvantages. If you just want to hold a hill under any circumstance, I probably would play the Kronwagen, honestly. However, I think this tank has some versatility and has some other things that it can do to help you. Rebel is struggling to get a shot into the lower plate of that E100. That E100 is not really doing anything to him, so I guess he can be patient. This VK72 is about to die, and does die. That AMX-50B somehow is still alive. But Rebel's holding this spot here, and I think that a lot like the Chieftain MK6, this tank can hold a spot. Now, I would say a great comparator to this tank is the Chieftain MK6. Potentially as well, although is a Super Conqueror as well would be another tank I would look at to see if you've got both of those. Do you really want to spend and go through what I just showed you to spend to get this? I don't know. But nonetheless, it's to me it's a fun thing to do to try to get the tank. I got the MLE last year. Can't say I was too excited about it once I got it, but hey, what the hell. I'm not a big fan of French tanks. I am a big fan of American tanks, generally speaking. Rebel uses the reverse speed, doesn't get really any damage from the E100. And here comes the 5120. Rebel pounds it. Continues to use a good reverse speed, casually bounces at 800, I guess that's the shot from the 5120, but then he starts taking damage, and you cannot have this tank, as Rebel showed you there out in the open. The lower plate is too weak, and everybody can pen you. So you've got to do it. The E100 now is focusing on somebody else. I think he actually just lagged out or something there. Maybe he was busy. No, that wasn't him. I don't know. He was just stupid. 4-on-3 here, though. Winnable game. They're down 2 bases to 1. Point difference is there, but somebody's capping A, one of the morons. And Rebel is still, still holding it. Pay to win wins. Okay, yeah. Because gosh, you certainly pay to win here. If I could pay to win, I fucking would, by the way. Wargaming definitely does not allow you to pay to win. For those of you who've been on the game recently, there's a rash of idiots playing, unlike the rash. I've only seen it a couple of times before. It's been a bad couple of weeks. Rebel does not get the cheek shot there on Snarf 21, but continues to work Snarf down. He has whittled him down about 1200 HP. You can see that this tank, this tank is good. I hate that it shoots heat. Heat has all kinds of problems, like high explosive. It does need to land on a flat surface and all these things. Rebel needs to clear these guys. They've got a 200 point, they're down 200 points. Now after that, the 50B was cleared. Now that's a little bit more manageable. Rebel just keeps shooting heat, and the heat on this is just so pathetic. There goes the 5120. Now Rebel and his friends are going to clear the E100. You can see the gun is tight, and the pen is good, so it's easy to kind of get shots, but you just got to be patient. And you can notice the E100 has nothing to shoot at in terms of Rebel's turret. So, they're Rebel for the victory. 4,200 or so odd damage. And a mastery. This is probably a mastery, day 1 mastery, but not a mastery nonetheless. 1269 base will definitely not get you a mastery in this thing in the future. Now we got our resident pro gentleman here with the 1B as well, and he is not rocking the whatever, I don't know what that camo is called actually, the inappropriate Native American camo. But he is driving, how do you like this camo? I think I just got this one. And we are here in Castilla, so this is a grid map, a good place for this tank. And I think you could argue, that you could take the med side with the tank as well, depending on what's going on. Gent loves this spot. He's taught me to go here many times. I seem to, for whatever reason, die every time I try to do it. There is what I talked about earlier, the MK6. MK6 pound Gent. The MK6 actually has a lot of similarities to this tank. It's got a very, very good turret. The armor on the turret is probably equally good, but the overall armor profile of the MK6 is not as good as this tank. So we've got a little bit of a difference there. And you can see how easy it is to shoot the MK6 there while the object bounces casually about 1,000 damage there. Gent, interestingly enough, must have seen something here that triggered him to move up. He noticed that the mediums were back there. If you can see on the mini-map, the mediums, there's 3 mediums over on the church. And Gent just got a signal that said, hey, fuck it, it's time to go. Probably have to ask Gent why he did that, but I like the move. So he's pushing up there very aggressively. Nice angle shot into the IS-8. Gent has someone behind him as well, but he's got 4 up here, 3 over in the church, and he's got 2 TDs sitting in the bush. So what Gent's doing here is actually he's spotting for his TDs. He should be protected in the rear because the TDs will not let those guys cross. They're already down 1 from Gent's team, so 6 on 7. Gent gets another shot. He's working hard on this IS-8, and the 50 TP is in a position that he shouldn't really get a lot of shots because he has no gun depression and he's on a very steep hill. So Gent is aggressively pushing the IS-8, baits a shot from him. Now he's in a good spot where the mediums can't farm him, which is the key concern here. When you lose the church, you're going to get pounded. I don't know where Gent got shot there. Nice shot by the IS-8. Lucky shot by the IS-8. IS-8 is going to go down here, and it's about 3, 2, 1, clear, and he is gone. Gent clears the IS-8. The 50 GP is still up there trying to shoot, I think, the TDs. Gent's heavies are just literally watching him play. Now notice that is probably the single biggest advantage of the Concept 1B versus the Church, or the Churchill, because of that hit spot there that this tank does have. I showed it to you in a second ago, but it's not as big, it's not as pronounced, and it's going to be very hard to hit unless you're in a medium up close. The Churchill, I keep calling it fucking Churchill, what's wrong with me? There's the 140. I don't understand where that guy or 704, I don't know where that 704 disappeared. He's been gone for like 3 minutes. I think he went back there and took a shit. So Gent, they clear the Chieftain. Gent is making his move on the 704. Look at the holes on that thing. There's another one, 340. God damn. Man, I tell you what, it's not going to be fun to be rolling up 340. The 704, that looked like it was high explosive. It's a lot of high explosive damage there, to be very honest. And by the way, if you look at Gent's tank, you can see where the IS-8, I think, hit him. It's right that area where I was pointing to on earlier. It is that high track area. This thing has some weak spots around its side. I think we're going to have to figure those out in the real game. 2-on-3 right now. Gent has some morons helping him. The 50 TP is gonna go down here. He cannot end Gent, I don't think, in almost any position. What is this guy doing? And so Gent's gonna clear him right here. Here comes our resident idiot, the Chieftain MK6. And then, so Gent's got the M60 pushing up on him. I love the M60, but look at the holes in that turret. And that's with APCR, for God's sakes. Now, the M60 is a great tank. I still argue it's the greatest medium in the game these days, although looking at the turret from the lens of the 50 from the Concept 1B does not make it look too good, but there's a bounce. Gent does need some help here. They're down a massive amount on points. Takes a hit from the Leopard, PTA. So Leopard's got 1100 damage. M60's got 726. Gent's down to 380. This ain't a pretty one. Gent's friend, I think, went AFK. I'm going to call him a friend. He is in the Tanks clan. What clan is he? So you can't expect much there. But this M60 is pushing really hard. He wants to get him out. Does it? They do clear him. They're down to 840 points. So this is going to get really tight just from a perspective of points. 818 after Gent clears the M60. I think that was a really stupid move by the M60. It was such a big point lead. You want to be able to do it. Gent is trying to he's going to work the angles here. All this Leopard has to do is go jump in a creek back there and he wins. I mean, Gent can't cap A. He can't even really get to B. So this has to be a death here. So this Leo literally just needs to, I'm serious, go jump into that creek behind you, the river, drive away and you win. He maybe did that. I haven't watched this replay. That's all he needs to do. You're not going to beat Gent at this point, although he's got more hit points and much higher DPM. Maybe that's what he did. Well, if it's a loss, it's a fucking loss. Whatever. But nonetheless, I think Gent played it really well. There wasn't too much you can do there. 69, 66 damage. Although Gent is going to where I would have gone if I was the Leo. So looks like it's a Wheeler mastery, a mastery loss, but shows you what the tank can do. Ouch, Gent. I'm sorry to hear that. This was like number 3 or 4 all time. That hurt. Let's take a look at the Chieftain MK6 here. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, hope you liked the replay. I hope you enjoy the tank. Good luck with your globes. Don't spend too much money if you don't have it. It's not worth it. But nonetheless, great tank. Thanks for watching.